Nerlens Noel may not be a household name now, but the top-rated collegiate recruit of the nation is in Portland tonight, representing Team USA against the world's top 19-year-old stars, the 2012 Nike Hoop Summit. Since 1995, the Nike Hoop Summit has been a stepping stone for the brightest future collegiate and professional stars, like Kevin Garnett, Tony Parker, Tyler Hansbrough, Kevin Durant, DeMar DeRozan, John Wall, Kyrie Irving, Harrison Barnes, Jared Sullinger, and last year, Austin Rivers and Anthony Davis. So which future star will shine tonight in Portland? Perhaps 2012 Naismith High School Player of the Year, Shabazz Muhammad from Las Vegas. Possibly Nerlens Noel himself, described by scouts as the best shot blocker in a generation. Or explosive world team forward Anthony Bennett from Canada. The best teenage players in the world meet right now in the 2012 Nike Hoop Summit. The Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon is where the best players 19 years of age and under have come to showcase their ability. It's the annual Nike Hoop Summit with the USA taking on the world. Hello again, everybody, along with the winningest coach in Oregon history, Ernie Kent. I'm Ron Thulin. And Ernie, there is no doubt this game showcases the best of the best players that will be playing major college basketball next year and eventually the NBA. But this is different than any other all-star game because there's a different sense of pride in this game.
Well, no kidding. When I coach USA basketball, when you're overseas, everybody wants to beat the United States. So when these players come together, they know this is about the name on the front of the jersey, that USA, not the name on the back of the jersey.
We have got loads of talent in this basketball game, including the top two consensus players in the United States playing for Team USA. They may not be names you hear now, but you will in the future. Let's start with Shabazz Muhammad, incredibly talented young man.
Well, the thing I like about him is that he is so gifted and such a versatile player because his mid-range game, when he gets his feet set, he's almost unstoppable. And of course, he's at his best when he gets out in transition to dunk on anybody. I really love his game, and we're going to look at a scout report that is just off the charts. He has an excellent mid-range game. He is just physically can dominate you inside, outside. And again, the speed, the consistency of attack mode all the time, and he is the must improve his ball handling and must improve his three-point shooting, but he can score with the best of them anyhow.
And he's not the only star we have playing tonight. Nerlens Noel, this kid is amazing.
Well, the reason he's amazing is because he's a long, athletic basketball player, very similar to Anthony Davis on the shot blocking side of it. Comes from across the lane, blocks in front of you, he protects the hoop. He is almost impossible to score on, and of course he can finish with the best of them as well too. Nerlens Noel getting used to that name because again, a scouting report said he is the #1 prospect by Scott.com. He can dominate on the defensive end with force, blocking with either hand, terrific passer from the high post, and ideal combination of speed, size, and athleticism. Every coach would like to have that. I'll tell you that right now.
You'd like to have them. Speaking of those two men, they are with the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Rebecca Harlow.
Nike Hoop Summit features the best high school players in all of the world, and the best of the best with me right now, Nerlens Noel, Shabazz Muhammad. Now, these two guys are the top two recruits in the whole entire nation, but let's get right to the point. Everyone wants to know, where are you hooping next year?
I'm looking to make a decision April 11th before the Jordan Classic game.
Have you narrowed the list down at all, and tell me where you're considering at this point?
I've narrowed it down to Georgetown, Kentucky, and Syracuse.
And of course, all of those coaches keeping their fingers crossed tonight. And what about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hep right now. I mean, cut it down to 3, Duke, Kentucky, UCLA. So just going to make my decision on April 11th also and see what happens.
And another exciting thing about the Nike Hoop Summit, you're now playing for the team, USA. What does it mean to have the USA on the jersey?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, looking at the players that have participated in this event, and just happy to have this USA across my chest. We're going to go out and represent tonight.
Thanks so much for your time.
No problem.
And Team USA has a lot of history on their side. Since 1995, it's 11-3 in favor of United States over the world team.
All right, Rebecca, thank you so much. Now let's talk about the world team, because they are represented by 9 countries. And on the world team, the #1 power forward in the country, Anthony Bennett.
He's put the power in power forward, because here is a big, strong-bodied athlete that can dunk on anybody, and he loves to dunk. Everything he does to the hole, he is going to finish with abandon. He is a strong, gifted young man that just dunks with the best of them. And we're going to look at a scouting report that says, get out of my way, because explosive athleticism, strong, I'm saying super strong upper body strength, can dominate the glass. Despite he's undersized, he also must improve that perimeter jump shot, but I think that because he dunks so much, he doesn't need to worry about jump shooting the basketball.
He doesn't have to shoot so much. We are expecting a high-scoring game tonight from these young stars. These are stars of the future, and they are shining inside the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon. On the other side of the break, they will introduce themselves to you. Stay with us as the 2012 Nike Hoop Summit continues. The 2012 Nike Hoop Summit from the Rose Garden in Portland. Okay.
How long are you going to be talking about the rules? Just go through the list.
Grab one that you think's important.
Don't go through them. I'm just going to boom, 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 boom. That's a bet one. Just keep going.
Just make.
Yeah. So that might be better to do it that way. So as you look at our rules there,
The 2012 Nike Hoop Summit from the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon is brought to you by Nike Basketball and by USA Basketball. It is a beautiful day in Portland, Oregon, and inside the Rose Garden, we are set for the world team to take on the USA Junior National Team. Now it's time to meet Team USA, presented by Nike.
Marcus Page, Marion, Iowa, point guard.
Rasheed Suleiman, Houston, Texas, point guard. Archie Goodwin, Little Rock, Arkansas, combo guard. Gary Harris, Fishers, Indiana, combo guard.
James Robinson, PG County, Maryland, point guard.
Kyle Anderson, Fairview, New Jersey, point guard.
Shabazz Muhammad, Las Vegas, Nevada, combo guard.
Nerlens Noel, Everett, Massachusetts, forward center.
Caleb Tarczewski, Claremont, New Hampshire, center.
Mitch McGarry, Chesterton, Indiana, power forward.
Tony Parker, Atlanta, Georgia, power forward.
Mike Jones, DeMatha Catholic High School, USA Basketball assistant coach.
Kevin Boyle, Montverde, Florida, head coach, USA Basketball.
And that's a look at the USA team along with their coaching staff. Now let's introduce you to the World All-Stars and their coaches, also presented by Nike.
Alexander Tretvic, Serbia, point guard.
Joe Westerman, France, point guard.
Tore Sagela, Lithuania, forward.
Michal Michalak, Poland, shooting guard.
Andrew Wiggins, Canada, small forward.
Denis Strzauskas, Lithuania, point guard.
Anthony Bennett, Canada, forward.
Dario Šarić, Croatia, forward. Marco Delia, Argentina, center.
Patson Siame, Zambia, center.
Wang Zheling, China, center.
Marin Sedlacek, assistant coach, Serbia.
Roy Rana, Toronto, Canada, head coach, world team.
And there's a look at the world team and head coach Roy Rana talking to his squad. Now, this is a game that's going to be played under international rules. Ernie, there are some differences than what maybe the NCAA rules are.
Well, you can see the difference in the three-point line. The shot clock is different. Touch the ball above the rim, knock it off. I think that's a big adjustment for anybody to realize you can do that. And then you play quarters versus halves. And, of course, the backcourt violations, 8 seconds versus 10 seconds. And the lane is a little bit wider also. But I see the biggest thing is touching that basketball above the rim. You'll see a lot of plays made above the rim by players right now.
You know, as we take a look at the starting lineups, Westerman, Michalak, Wiggins, Bennett, Wang Jae Lin will be starting for the world team. The United States team, of course, Goodwin, Robinson, Anderson, Mohammed, and Tarczewski will start at center. Now, already we're seeing a little chess game. You don't think this game is important. Both coaching staffs tweak their starting lineups from what they were practicing with earlier this week and what we've seen. Kevin Boyle saying, you know, I may have to go small. He wants to test the world guards.
Well, he wants to test them because he's going to put pressure on them. Typically in these type of ball games, you know, world teams are really, really skilled basketball teams, but they have a hard time with that pressure defense and the athleticism of USA teams. So I could see that pressure being applied early just to see how they're going to handle it.
And our officials tonight, Scott Balnick of the United States, an outstanding official, Jose Carrion, and Hector Sanchez out of Venezuela. You know, going back to the rules, talking to the players the last 3 days we've been here, most of the United States players said they don't like that knocking it off the rim rule.
They don't like it, and that's why I think when they go inside, you'll see a lot more dunks. But it's a tough rule to get used to. Whereas the world team, they play that way all the time. You'll see them making a lot of those basketball plays.
Jalen and Tarczewski will tip it up. Tarczewski does a nice job. Quickly, the United States tries to get it to Mohammed. They throw it away, and the world team will have the ball. And here comes the pressure we thought we would see in this game. This is Andrew Wiggins. He is outstanding. Michalak gives it up inside Bennett. That is why he is the #1 power forward in the country, Anthony Bennett.
You're going to hear me talk about skill a lot. That's the ability to pass, dribble, shoot the ball, and make the correct basketball play. And that time the world team did against that pressure.
Archie Goodwin get it back on top. Mohammed, he's not afraid to take that shot. Leans in with that left hand, can't get it. Bennett with a rebound and gives it up quickly to Michalak. Wiggins with a floater with a right hand. Andrew Wiggins, whose father, Mitchell Wiggins, of course, played in the NBA.
He is the youngest player on the floor and ranked #1 in his class, and I think he gave you an opportunity to see why on that play there.
He is not expected to go to college to 214. That could change. They're going to try to accelerate that. The United States, their second turnover of the ball game. And right now, the world team pressing the action. Leo Westerman out of France plays for Tony Parker's pro team in France. Tony Parker of the San Antonio Spurs. Bennett from the outside with the three. Tarczewski can't get it. Jalen does. Uses his left hand, and the big 7-footer out of China gets his first two.
He is a agile big man that may be one of the best or the best player out of China to play in this Nike Hoop Summit.
Well, he's named to the 21-man national team roster for the upcoming Olympics in London. Still has to make the team, but it was an honor for a young man to do that. Outside, Mohammed shot, rebounded by Westerman. Jay Lin and Terzuski already going in and in the lane. Leo Westerman gives it up. Wiggins lets him fly for 3. They're going to call it a 2.
Not only did he let it fly, he played with it a little bit there. And nice jab step to create that jump shot.
You know, when we watched Wiggins in practice, this kid's got savvy, and he's got such a feel for the game that was very recognizable to you. Rebound control by Wiggins. Westerman, 6'5", 19 years old. Mahalik tries to go around Gordon. Jalen wide open, a defensive lapse. Kevin Boyle wants a timeout for the USA.
I don't think I have seen this in play yet in watching the USA play last year and years before that, because here is an opportunity to see a basketball team in this world team that's making basketball play after basketball play. Jalen on the big dunk, that is all set up by the skill, the ability to drive and kick.
Man, that is awesome, dude. USA yet to score in this ball game. They're 0 for 3 shooting. Coach Roy Rana's team leads at 10-0, led by Andrew Wiggins, who goes to Huntington Prep in West Virginia.
Here is a young man that has come to play. I mean, in the open court, he goes and attacks the hole under control, nice little floating jumper. And this play here, watch him set up the defender with the jab step, and then boom, right in his face with a big-time three-point shot. Andrew Wiggins, the #1 player in his class ranked right now. That says he is the best in the world in his class right now.
And he is an exceptional young man. We've spent a lot of time with him over the last 3 days. Down in Huntington Prep, he averaged over 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists a game this past season.
I would think this USA team has been shell-shocked right now because the world team has some good guard play, and it's going to be interesting to see who steps up and starts to take control of the game for USA.
Well, Shabazz Muhammad's been the only one trying to make an effort, and he gets the basket and also draws the whistle on the contact.
Well, how about the #1 or #2, depending on what scouting service, best player coming out of high school right now, Shabazz Muhammad, puts it on the floor, attacks the hole. Remember, we talked about his mid-range game and his ability to finish at the hole.
Nevada Player of the Year, played 4 years on varsity, had 3 state titles. Misses the free throw, and Wiggins comes down with it. He's got 2 boards already to go along with 4 points. Westerman doing a nice job, very savvy from that point guard spot. Maluski kicks it out. Muhammad comes up with it. Kyle Anderson, the pull-up, his first shot of the evening. Muhammad, the rebound, the putback, count the basket. It didn't hit the rim before Jalen got a hand on it.
Well, it was almost kind of going down in the cylinder a little bit, but USA is best when they get out and run in transition. And the rebound here, strong putback. You see the ball is down in the rim. He actually hits the rim and makes it pop out again. If he had hit the ball while it was on the rim, it would have been a good legal play.
And the statistics on Muhammad, and he's got the USA cutting the lead by 5. Muhammad with 4 of the 5 points. Mihalik gets a step on Goodwin. Wiggins for a three-pointer, and he is fouled on the play. That'll be 3 shot foul.
Any coach in the country will tell you, you never, ever foul a three-point shooter or a jump shooter for that matter. So tough play, but Wiggins again sets the play up because he jab stepped and hit down the last jumper, and all of a sudden he gets a defender running at him, and he takes the hit, and he's at the line for 3.
And right in front of Kevin Boyle, who was trying to tell his defense, you've got to watch this guy. There's a good look at Kevin, a very successful coach, 23 years at St. Patrick in New Jersey. Moved to Mount Verde this year and had an outstanding season, has a great class coming back, but he was screaming, guys, you got to rotate over and watch this kid.
Well, no kidding. If you remember in practice, here was somebody that was a great communicator, teacher, and motivator. There's no wonder he's been so successful as a high school basketball coach.
Both coaches very successful. Mohammed, the southpaw, he drains the jumper. That's what we saw in the scrimmage last night.
Well,
that impressed us.
He's really, really good when he can get his feet set. And I don't care if it's at the mid-range or the 3. People question his three-point shooting. He shoots the ball extremely well when Mohammed takes good shots. And those are good on-balance jump shots. So that's the key. You want to be a bad shooter, force things. Good shooter just takes what the defense gives him, gets his feet set, and he knocks it down.
Good job defensively, Archie Goodwin of the United States, knocking it loose off World Team's leg. And Mohammed's got to give it up to Robinson, a late addition to this team because Marcus Page, who's still with the team but got hurt, the North Carolina signee. He'll have foot surgery on Tuesday, so that opened the door for Robinson to get in the game. Westerman is tied up, and that'll be a jump ball. We'll have our first substitutions. Alexander Svetkovic will come into the ball game, number 4 for the World Team. Also joining him, wearing jersey number 12, Dario Saric of Croatia. And the United States making a substitution. Number 14, Tony Parker, comes in out of Atlanta, Georgia, the suburb of Lithonia. 3 by Wiggins, no good. Saric can't get it. Rebound by Kyle Anderson, 6'8". Some project him to play point guard at UCLA.
Well, he's good enough to play 1 through 5 positions because he's really skilled, long, gifted. He puts it on the floor well, and Ben Howland is going to be happy to have him in his program.
Now, USA on a 9-2 run, courtesy of Archie Goodwin's last basket, the Kentucky signee and Arkansas Player of the Year. Saric from the outside, and he drains the 3.
Let me tell you something about this World Team, and they did something that always causes USA problems on a national and an international scene, I should say, and that is the pick and pop, the roll and replace. When you've got skilled big guys that can shoot the ball, they're going to have to really keep an eye on those big guys in the World Team because they can all step and shoot it.
And Saric plays in the Euro League, which is an outstanding basketball league. It's probably number 2 to the NBA. So you can't leave him open. Outstanding shooter, obviously. Checking into the United States lineup, Gary Harris, number 7, out of Fishers, Indiana, will be attending Michigan State. Also coming in for the World Team, Marcos Delia out of Argentina. Both Delia and Saric will be celebrating their birthdays tomorrow. In fact, Saric, number 12, or Delia, I should say, number 13. If he would have turned 20 today, he wouldn't have been able to play in the ball game. But since his birthday is tomorrow, he gets in by a day. Anderson, the pull-up. Nice looking move. Mohammed keeps it alive.
Shabazz Muhammad is all over the floor right now, making plays to the hole. He's shooting jump shots. He's really causing havoc on the offensive end of the floor.
And Delia comes up with it, but we've got a whistle and a foul. I think it'll be on Tony Parker, his first.
You look at the game right now, and USA, again, they need to get their legs and get moving again because this World Team has come to play. They're dictating the pace of the game. They're the ones that are coming down and making plays off the drive, off the bounce. And to get control of the game, the defensive pressure needs to be pushed up and then get out and run in transition.
Wiggins gets hit as he lets it fly. Saric can't hold on to it. It'll belong to the World Team. And checking into the lineup, Nerlens Noel, our first look at him. Out of Everett, Massachusetts, went to Tilton School in New Hampshire. And as we heard in our open, He has narrowed his choices down, and he'll make the decision April 11th. Comes up with a steal. Anderson. Swinging around to Harris. Very steady ball player, Gary Harris, will be playing his collegiate ball at Michigan State. Muhammad, that is a sweet left-handed flick.
Well, it was about 6 feet from the bucket, and he is left-handed, so it looks so natural to him, but that is a left-hand jump hook from 6 feet away.
Cvetkovic out front. Anderson tries to stay with him. He loses the handle. Noel gives it up to Harris. Harris, a little stutter step, pulls the trigger. Rebound, Anderson. Short arms it. They'll try it again with Harris. This time it goes.
Harris is one of those prototype Michigan State guards. Strong, smart, tough on defense. Knock down open shots, almost like they just continue to clone those guys at Michigan State. Tom Izzo talked to him earlier, and he talked about being so pleased with him as a player. A smart kid, works hard, good kid coming into his program.
What has stood out, I think, for everybody, the scouts and everybody watching him over the last couple of days, Gary Harris has a passion for the game, and it was very noticeable in the practices.
You're absolutely right. Passion for the game, and I just thought he was a great communicator when you talk to him. Looks you eye to eye, and just a great kid.
Anderson, the fall away, can't get it to go. Rebound controlled by Šarić. Little no-look pass, the three on the way. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Mikhail Michalek out of Poland.
I'm going to say it again. Skill, the ability to push the ball down the floor, make the right play, knock down shots. This world team is a pretty good basketball team, and the USA is going to have to increase his defensive intensity and get out and run this team, because right now they are running USA.
Michalek, a little flick shot, doesn't get it. Mohammed there for the rebound. Quick outlet to Harris. Harris with a 3-on-2, and they throw it away again. USA having problems with turnovers tonight.
Well, they lost Marcus Page to a broken foot. You know, he broke his fifth metatarsal in his foot there. I think he's going to get operated on next Tuesday, headed to North Carolina. And he was a very good point guard. And point guard play is so critical at this level, to be able to get the ball up and down the floor and make the right decisions and everything. And you can see where they're missing him right now in the ball game.
Well, number 5 for the United States, Rasheed Suleiman's checked into the lineup out of Houston, Texas. He'll be going to Duke. Noel, the off-balance shot, but he did draw the contact. Now there's a good look at Marcus Page, and has a great attitude about the surgery. Knows that he needed it. He had to get it done. Was the leading scorer in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa area. Scored almost 2,000 career points.
I talked to Roy Williams at the Final Four, and he's just so pleased that he's coming into his program. He talked about he's a very intelligent young man, and again, you talk about a prototype point guard that has been in Carolina's program. He's going to bring excitement. He's going to bring an ability to score the ball, defend. And he's got that foot right now, fifth metatarsal, very common bone that's broken by a lot of basketball players. And give him a chance about 6 weeks after operation to come back.
And a good look at Nerlens Noel, 6'11". Once again, he'll be celebrating his birthday, his 18th birthday, on Tuesday. Someone stepped in the lane too early. Well, you look at Noel, both his older brothers play football in college. He said, nah, it just wasn't for me. Well, you're also 6'11", you know?
6'11" and long, and if there's one thing he needs to do, obviously, is put on some size and muscle, but he's got a nice frame to put on 20, 30 pounds, and wherever he goes to college, that strength coach has got his workout cut out for him, but he's going to be a nice basketball player.
Dali out of Argentina sneaks behind the defense. He plays in the top level of Argentinian hoops. And the USA has had a couple of defensive lapses so far this evening. The foul is going to be on Cvetkovic.
Robinson, a late addition to this team, James Robinson, that's going to Pitt, and another one of those players that is very smart, tough defender. He reminds me of Jorge Gutierrez that played at California, where he does everything right. Does it on the defense and the offensive ends. How about Noel, 6'11", putting the ball down like a point guard.
I love it. Harris from the outside. Let's check in with Rebecca Harlow with one of Team USA's players. Rebecca? Well, we've got some technical problems. We'll be checking in with Andrew Wiggins and Rebecca. Andrew, of course, from the World Team. Both teams making some substitutions. Marcus Talia checks out of the lineup, and our first look right there at Patson Siami out of Zambia. Here's a young man that had never played in an indoor basketball court until recently. Didn't even start playing basketball until he was 15. Now he's part of the World Team. Yogella draws the whistle and the foul. 52 seconds left in the opening quarter. Once again, 4 12-minute quarters in this game. And McGarry's also checked in the lineup. Mitch McGarry, he'll be attending Michigan. 6'10", 265-pounder.
You look at the big guys, McGarry, and just a strong body on him. Tony Parker, another one with a great body. And
wide open. Yogella can't get the three to go. Ball will belong to the United States. But again, they're getting those wide open looks, Coach.
Well, they are, and you see there's going to be more substitutions to get more quickness on the floor to defend this team, because right now the World Team is doing a very good job of creating penetration, sucking in the defense, and then kicking in those three-point shooters. And that's something they do in world basketball. It's just the drive, kick, swing, shoot. Drive, kick, swing, shoot. And that means you're going to have to up your defensive pressure, get more intensity on the basketball.
I have to mention, too, that the World Team's been together since Sunday. The United States team got together for the first time on Thursday morning, and Nerlens Noel wasn't able to even get here till late Thursday night. Didn't get to practice Thursday. His first practices were yesterday. The World Team's been acclimated with each other for a number of days. Suleiman, the tough shot. Nothing doing. And a whistle and a foul. That'll be on Mitch McGarry.
You noticed in practice with this World Team again that their guard play was so much better than it was last year, with their ability to, their skill level, with ability again to put it down on the floor, make decisions, and handle the quickness and the pressure of USA. And then USA team, when you compare this team to last year's team, a little bit more firepower, a little bit more quickness than last year's team. But this is a very good basketball team, obviously with some outstanding players, with Noel being the big cream of the crop along with Shabazz Muhammad. But I love Robinson, love Harris, who's on his way to Michigan State. Obviously, this is a very good, gifted basketball team that needs to increase their intensity right now.
I think you're right. Noel with the rebound after Yogella's missed free throw attempt. Final 15 seconds here in the first quarter. USA went almost 5 minutes before they scored their first basket, as the World Team jumped out to a 10-0 lead here in the first. The three on the way. Rebound tipped around, and that's the way the first quarter will end. Wiggins with 6 points to lead the World Team. Mohammed with 9 to lead Team USA. They're smiling now, but will they be smiling at the end of the game? We're at the Nike Hoop Summit at the end of the first. The World Team leads Team USA by 7.
Teague's first name is Marcus Teague. Kyle Wilcher.
I don't know if Wilt Wilcher's been here. He was at practice the other day. I don't see him here now.
Yeah.
World leading Team USA by 7. We're about to start quarter number 2. Let's take you back to last year, the 2011 Nike Hoop Summit. Team USA, guard Austin Rivers. He had a game-high 20, Ernie.
Well, terrific point guard playing that ball game. You see the crossover there. Had a great year for Duke. One and done.
How about Anthony Davis, 16 and 10 in the victory for the United States?
All he did was change the game in this game, and he changed the game in the college game, especially. The #1 player coming out, probably the #1 player in the draft.
And how about Bismack Biyombo? Kind of played himself a contract with this game.
Well, I thought he was outstanding in the ball game. He hustled, showed great athleticism, timing on the blocks, played with great enthusiasm in the ball game. And you're right, he played himself into a contract.
And you can see last year's alumni, they all have national championships to their credit. Kyle Wilcher, of course, played for the world team last year, but Davis, Gilchrist, and Marcus Teague, the outstanding point guard, all playing for John Calipari after playing in the Nike Hoop Summit. And our first quarter summary brought to you by Nike, and it was an interesting first quarter as the United States went just about 5 minutes without scoring their first point, but that's the way things stack up so far.
Well, now they're going to have to play against the zone because there was an adjustment made at the start of this quarter, and that world team has gone to their 1-2-2 zone, and it's a matchup zone, a European matchup zone, as I call it, and you'll see it shift to a 3-2. It'll go back to a 2-2-1. It'll just give you the looks that you give it on offense, and it'll just match up with you. So it'll be interesting to see how this USA team attacks it.
Rashid Suleiman's checked into the lineup, number 5 with the basketball now. They work it around the perimeter.
Ball has to go inside. It's got to go inside out by the dribble or by the pass. When you keep it on the perimeter, it's just going to get matched up. So they're going to first force USA to make some decisions to shoot the ball, number 1, and it's going to force them to create off the bounce as well.
And Kyle Anderson with a traveling call. And Team World will take over. Here is Westerman again. The 19-year-old out of France. Plays in the French Pro A-League. Sarge from the outside. He's already got 1 3 to his credit. Goodwin spins around. Westerman runs into him, and he'll be called for the infraction.
Goodwin reminds me of Russell Westbrook. He just gets moving. He's so fast with the basketball. There's one thing about being quick. There's another thing about being fast, and he's somebody that can get from point A to point B and super speed with the basketball, and obviously great athleticism as well. Kentucky is going to be happy. They've got another one that can put it on the floor and attack the basket.
And you were saying the other day how Kentucky's dribble drive offense fits Archie Goodwin so well.
Well, if you think about the championship game against Kansas, you look at that shot chart, everything was in the paint, in the lane, in the paint. They could beat you off the dribble so well.
Time to drive by Shajauskas.
You know, that's I would say an incoming freshman mistake there. You kind of reach and turn your body and take the bomb. Rashid Suleiman, though, he is a very good on-ball defender. He's going to have to learn some things about off-ball defense playing at that next level. But on-ball, he's a really, really good defender, plays with a lot of energy. Another one of those Duke prototype point guards.
And this time they allow Šarić out of Croatia to sneak in again behind the defense.
The thing that's causing them problem is the spreading of the floor, the spacing, and the roll and replace. World team's doing a good job of finding that open man, and they're going to force you again in the zone to go inside and attack the basket.
Mohamed shot off the mark. Mohamed now 4 of 10 shooting, but he does have 9 points to lead Team USA so far.
Team USA, again, they got to increase the pressure. They got to create steals, create turnovers, and do what they do best, get out and run in transition and make basketball plays.
Westerman gets a good look, throws it up over the outstretched hands of Anderson, and that's a 3.
They are getting a lesson right now in offensive basketball, unselfish basketball by this world team, finding the open score.
They have done that so well. Gary Harris up off USA bench as they get their first easy 2 from Archie Goodwin out of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Again, he's best at attacking the basket, great athleticism. Going to be a great addition for John Calipari at Kentucky.
And that won't go, but we've got a whistle and a foul. And the lead is back to 10. Gary Harris will check back into the lineup for Team USA. Suleiman will go out. And at the line, it will be Andrew Wiggins.
Suleiman, another one of those very intelligent basketball players. Very smart in the classroom, smart on the court. He plays hard. When you talk about teams reloading Duke and the prototype Duke player, Duke point guard, there he sits again. I'm very impressed with where they just continue to reload that system with exactly the same piece that they lost. He's going to be great for Coach Krzyzewski in that offense. He can spread the floor, attacks you off the dribble, shoots the three, defends on ball as well.
And Wiggins now with 8. 4 of them coming from the free throw line.
This ball has got to go inside by the pass or by the dribble, inside, outside. You're not just going to pass it on the perimeter. But, of course, Kyle Anderson, that versatile player that can play at any position, says go inside on this.
Tally missed out on 2 USA teams, the under the specific age team, and he had something to prove. He wanted to be on this team a lot. We've got a whistle, and I think it's going to be a timeout. 8-second violation.
You know, in international play, you have 8 seconds to get the ball over half court versus when you played at the collegiate level, you have 10 seconds to get it over. And obviously with the defensive pressure, the turnover, the loose ball, the dive on the ball, good job by the official to notice it was 8 seconds. Of course, Coach Ray Rayno over there is trying to argue that, well, wait a minute now, it was a loose ball.
Let's check in with Rebecca Harlow. Rebecca.
Down here with Tony Parker, you've got some size, 6'8", 270. What do the bigs in this game need to do to start controlling the defense here?
Just rebound. We got to rebound, and we got to get back on D and block shots. We're hedging the screens pretty well, but we're not getting back. We got to give a quick hedge, and the guards got to get through so we can get back, and that's really what's killing us is defense. We'll score.
And your athleticism is something that everybody all over the country is looking forward to seeing next year, but where are you going to put that down and go to school?
I'm going to decide from 4 great schools. I think I'm going to do a great job in picking between Duke, UCLA, Ohio State, Kansas, and Georgia. And I think my family and I are going to do a great job on just narrowing it down, seeing who we're going to choose from, and just picking the school that's best for me.
You've got Team USA experience already. What are you telling the guys about the focus that it takes to require to beat the world team here?
We just have to play D. All we have to do is play D. If we just play D and just stay strong, we'll win this game. We're down now, but it's because we haven't played together for a long time. The continuity is coming. We have 4 great practices, and we're just going to play as hard as we can. And we're on the defensive end. We should get it done.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Very obvious that he is a team leader on this team. The coach is commending him for the way that he's been a leader on the floor, on and off the floor, guys.
Absolutely, one of the vocal guys. Jay Lynn, by the way, for the world team, now 3 of 3 shooting. He's got 6 points in the ball game. I think Tony hit it on the head. They've got to tighten it up defensively.
Well, the reason they're having problems is the reason that USA has always had problems at every level going overseas. It's the pick and the roll, because when you hedge, world teams are so skilled at finding the open man, and where we've gotten good on the world stage at the higher level is we switch on the pick and rolls and we shut the play down.
Anderson, nice pass in this inside to Muhammad.
Anderson is a very skilled, and I'm going to use that word skill again. He can shoot it, he can pass it, he can dribble it. He makes the right plays. At 6'8", he does all this.
But again, a defensive lapse as Wiggins just slashes right through. Remember, Wiggins is 17 years old.
Yeah, but he's playing beyond his years right now. He's 17. He's got what we call an old soul in an old school game now, because he can score.
And we just got old between the two of us. Basket for the USA, plus a foul. And Muhammad will go to the line.
They cannot afford to get Muhammad off the floor. He's a little bit winded right now. As you can see him bending over, just a little bit gassed, but he's just so effective in the game right now. You know, we talked in the open just about his skill set, his athleticism. He's strong. He can get to the hole. His excellent mid-range game. He's dominating the game on the offensive end right now. They need to give him a break in the game, but they just can't afford to do it because he's so productive right now.
Well, he was the 2012 Naismith High School Player of the Year, and once again narrowed his choices down to Duke, Kentucky, UCLA. From the outside, no go. Muhammad with a rebound. He already has a couple of rebounds, and they get the deuce in the United States on a mini roll themselves, cutting the lead down to 6 with 5 to play. And a whistle and a foul. Foul be on Gary Harris as Nerlens Noel will come back into the ball game, and we've got a timeout. 5 minutes to play in the half.
Kyle Anderson, when you think of his game at 6'8", playing any one of 5 positions, he's a very good basketball player. And on the other end, Wiggins is just an outstanding athlete, plays above the rim.
They just change things all of a sudden. Yeah.
Okay, first.
So I can't trust this, right? Okay. Welcome back to the Nike Hoops Summit inside the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon, and the world leading the United States 32-26. Coach Kent?
You know, the problem that has caused the USA on the world stage when they go over and play overseas in Europe and all this country is the pick and roll. And I'm going to tell you why, because we're so used to hedging on ball screens. If you let it run right here, you'll see right here where it will come and we'll see the pick coming. And then we want to hedge on this play. That's what you're taught in high school. And what happens is when you hedge, this big guy cannot stay with that guard. He's completely out of position, which gives the roll guy an opportunity to roll to the bucket. And obviously, the defense now is completely broken down. That's 7 feet at point blank. You are not going to stop that as you let them see and finish with a strong finish at the hole. So the pick and roll is really causing USA problems because we want to hedge all the time. Best way to help on it is to switch it. But when you got little guards on the floor, you can't switch to 7-footers. So look for that to be a key play for the world team to continue to exploit.
Now we've got an interesting matchup with Nerlens Noel and Wang Zhailin of China. Bennett. Oh, hello, Mr. Noel.
You're going to understand why they talk about his shot blocking ability, because he came from the other side of the lane to make this basketball play. Tremendous explosive athlete, long, that can block shots.
And Wiggins, though, comes right back and answers it. Wiggins with 12 points in the ball game to go along with 3 rebounds.
He is the best player on the floor right now for where he plays.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a complete game. Him and Shabazz Muhammad, boy, they're almost identical to each other. They can just attack. They beat you off the dribble. They knock it down from the outside. And Wiggins is having a heck of a basketball game right now.
Well, Svetkovic was going up against Gary Harris, and he's whistled for the foul, and the United States will take it side out. And Kyle Anderson, a coach's kid, he'll trigger the inbounds pass. It's funny, he says when he played for his dad, he didn't like it when he was younger. He said, that just really kind of bugged me. He says, but now he knows how much his dad taught him. Mohammed did not get a hand on it. It'll belong to the United States.
World team is back into the man-to-man again, so United States goes back to the pick and roll, pick and pop game.
Anderson over the 7-footer, Zhailin. Rebound control by Mahalik. Loose ball, United States comes up with it, they throw it away. Wang Zhailin with a dunk.
Now, notice you said Anderson over the 7-footer. The world team switched to pick and roll, and that way you don't give up the easy layup. So again, you always look at a team and see what they like to run and how they defend themselves. And they just switched to pick and roll and took the play away that time.
Reno wanted the traveling call, not going to get it. Let's go back to that steal just a second ago.
Well, it's great loose ball effort here on Muhammad's point. Unfortunately, he throws it to the wrong man, and you get Zhailin at the other end with a big-time finish. One of the best Chinese players to ever play in this Hoop Summit.
And And they've had a couple of them that have been pretty good. Some that went on to play in the NBA. That's going to be a push. Rana doesn't like it. Coach Rana, the head coach at Ryerson University in Canada, coming off his best season at Ryerson. They won the national title. Also won 4 high school titles, and he was the 3-time Canadian High School Coach of the Year. And Noel still having problems with his free throw. Rebecca?
Caleb Tarczewski, one of the best bigs in the country, but here's an interesting fact about him. His freshman year of high school, you were on the JV team, didn't make varsity. You've really become an overnight sensation here. How have you developed so quickly?
Just surrounding myself with good coaches, working hard in the gym every day, just really wanting to succeed.
And you're heading off to Arizona next fall. What did you like about Sean Miller's program?
Going so far away from home, I really wanted to, have that homely feel at Arizona. I really felt comfortable with Coach Sean Miller and the whole coaching staff, everyone there. So, that's really why I chose it.
Can you go in and establish yourself a la Derek Williams?
I hope so. That's really what I want to do. So we'll see what happens.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And of course, Arizona needing that inside presence now that they're losing Jesse Perry as well. They can't wait to get their hands on this big.
Rebecca, you're absolutely right. I talked to Coach Sean Miller yesterday, and he says, Ernie, you've seen us play several times. You know how small we were. They become from a small team to one of the biggest teams now in the Pac-12 conference, and that is a skilled big man athlete that can run the floor, score inside. Sean Miller's going to be very pleased to surround him with that personnel, all those great shooting guards in his system. Now he's got that inside presence.
Caleb Tarczewski, originally from Claremont, New Hampshire, played for the St. Mark's School in Arizona this past year. Led him to a 28-2 record and actually won the 2A title. Beat fellow USA team member Nerlens Noel in the title game.
During that interview, of course, Wiggins with another jab step three-pointer at one end, and then Siraj Muhammad at the other end continue to do his thing, and they finally get an opportunity, hopefully, to give him a break in the game. No, he stays on the floor. He's got his work cut out, but he's the one player right now that's doing an excellent job of attacking the basket.
And the USA with the pressure, they worked on it a lot on Thursday and yesterday. World team beats it handily. Westerman for 3, short. Rebound, Bennett. He has it swatted away, but he'll go to the line. Coming up at halftime, be sure to stay with us because we'll hear from some Nike Hoops Summit alumni who've gone on to brilliant NBA careers. Guys like Dirk Nowitzki and Kevin Love, Tony Parker, plus we'll chat live with USA Basketball Executive Director Jim Tooley. And we'll recap the first half with some wonderful color pictures and some stats. All coming up at halftime here in Portland. And at the line, Anthony Bennett, Findlay College Prep in Nevada, where he played this past season. You look at him too, and they were measuring a lot of the players yesterday. Bennett's got a 7'2" wingspan.
Which tells you why Kentucky, Florida, Oregon, UNLV are all on his list right now, hoping that he's going to choose one of them, because when you've got a 7'2", you're 6'7" with 7'2", that makes you play about 7'4".
Yeah, that's exactly right. Jay Lynn with a rebound. The fast break by the world team. Can't finish it out. Quickly, Harris up ahead. Jay Lynn to beat. Doesn't get the slam. They'll try it again. Suleiman. Jay Lynn rejects it. The world team on the break, and this time they make him pay. Yogella with the slam.
Jay Lynn with the block at the other end. He blocked and had a smile on his face. Yeah. Get it out, young man.
And the United States down by 15 in the ball game. Jay Lynn very active defensively with a steal and a whistle and a foul, and that'll be on Harris.
The reason they're down is because you see two different skill levels teams right now. And of course, the miss on the dunk right here, and there's a scramble on the floor, and Jay Lynn ends up hitting the block, and then at the other end of the floor, you get an opportunity to see a finished play with the dunk. So the skill set of this world team, their guard play is outstanding right now. When you talk about Wiggins, who's having just a great game, and Zivkovic is really heady, smart basketball player that knows how to draw fouls, and knocks down the threes, and they just understand how to play, and they've got a lot of pressure on USA right now. So USA is going to really have to regroup and maybe make some adjustments, get a little bit more quickness and pressure more, I think, because the pressure right now is leading to transition buckets.
Alexander Cvetkovic out of Serbia. Played in the United States in the 2011 Under-19 World Championships. They won a silver. They lost to the United States by 2. But Cvetkovic had 20 points in 25 minutes, and he said, I had a three-pointer that would have beaten the United States as the clock ran down. So he was looking forward to this game. And they're on a 12-2 run right now, the world team is. That's why they've opened up this advantage by 16 inside of 2 minutes to play. So we've got a timeout, the world team.
Remember we talked about that world team being a little fatigued. You think they played a little possum there and set them up a little bit because they certainly don't look fatigued because they're up and down the floor. Actually, the USA team looks a little bit fatigued right now because this world team is constantly out in transition.
Well, we've had some incredible talent here. 125 former USA and world team members were drafted into the NBA, and a lot of them could score a lot of points. Enes Kanter, he leads with 34 points. Dirk Nowitzki chipped in 33. Ellington and Tyler Hansbrough and Casey Jacobson, all 31. And you don't want to miss the halftime feature because you will see a side of Dirk Nowitzki you have not seen. And it's, I don't know how to he looks like he would have sung with the group Wham. That's all I'll say.
It's Dirk at his best. Dirk.
And there's Roy Rana. We talked about him and how successful he has been. 3-time Canadian High School Coach of the Year, and he's also named the head coach of Canada's junior national program. He's got a lot of international experience, and the way he dealt with these players was great. I think on the humorous side, though, he was trying to tell Wang Zhelin today in the shoot-around to yell switch. Well, Zhelin kept thinking he was saying swish. So every time they were practicing the switch on defense, Zhelin would yell, swish. And I think Roy finally went, we lost it in the translation here.
Remind me of my days. I spent 7 years in Saudi Arabia coaching over there, where 75% of my players didn't speak English. And, of course, I didn't speak Arabic. And, boy, you really have to do a lot of nonverbal communication to help translate everything.
And he was trying to get him to say it louder, so he was throwing. Coach Rana was throwing up his arms and trying to get him to say louder. And I don't think Wang Zhelin got the message on that. And Mohammed, he has been the workhorse, and I think he's going to stay in, and he does. He has already played 16 minutes in this ball game. Once again, 12-minute quarters international play.
Well, USA is continuing trying to get fresh guards on the floor, see if they can pressure more. And let me tell you what's happening right now. The pressure is speeding up the world team, puts them in transition, gives them an opportunity to show off that skill again, and they're getting easy buckets because they're a very skilled team as they go back to the zone.
Once again, the lead back up to 16 points inside of 1:40 to play in the half. Mohammed has it rejected, but Zhelin commits the foul, and he gets a big grin on his face.
Well, they're in a 1-3-1 zone with Bennett up top right now. And again, you tack that zone by getting into the lane by the pass or the dribble, and he did get him on the arm. Shabazz Muhammad goes right at him to draw the contact.
Well, the United States has gone over 3.5 minutes without a field goal made. Kyle Anderson at 5:08. Spending a lot of time at the free throw line so far tonight.
Well, when we looked at the team in practice, we talked about the ability of Marcus Teague to knock down shots, Beal to knock down shots from last year, Rivers that can knock down jump shots. And, this is a team that can really beat you off the dribble. They got great athleticism, but this world team is making them shoot the basketball by mixing up man and zone. And somebody's going to step up and make some perimeter jump shots.
Hammond already with 20 points in the ball game to lead both teams in scoring. As we close into 1 minute to play. Three-pointer wide open. Yogela can't get it. The United States hopes to put together a mini run. Inside, Mohammed with a slam.
Mohammed with the slam, but Archie Gooden, he turned the Jets on again. Again, he looks more like Russell Westbrook because he's so fast with the basketball, and he went from half court to the foul line in blazing speed and gave Mohammed an opportunity to get an easy dunk.
Goodwin, the Arkansas Player of the Year, whistle and a foul. It'll go to the United States.
Arkansas Player of the Year going to Kentucky. And again, when you think about Kentucky and all the dribble drive and just the ability to penetrate and score in the paint, how much they did against Kansas. Goodwin's going to fit in nicely with the speed here. He gets the ball at the half-court line. He gets to the free throw line so quick, makes the right basketball play. Shabazz Muhammad finished the play. Goodwin, it fits the way Kentucky plays really, really nicely to drive, get in the paint, make basketball plays.
We were talking about the practices, and once again, the world team's been practicing since Sunday. The United States since Thursday, but it's a who's who with NBA scouts. This is what it looked like yesterday. This is at the Blazers practice facility, and some people you might recognize. Doug Ashe, head coach of Detroit, or scout for the Detroit Pistons. R.C. Buford from the San Antonio Spurs. Dave Twardzik also there. And they were all writing things down.
You look at them being GMs and scouts. I look at them as being former players, and look at the talent that was sitting around that wall. There were some great basketball players in their time, in the day, back in the day, sitting in that gym.
Boy, could Dave Twardzik shoot the basketball or what?
Boy, could he ever.
Wow.
One of my favorite players.
Well, the United States has 57.5 to work with, trying to get a little blood off the jersey of Muhammad. And the United States down by a dozen.
It'd be nice if the USA could get a couple of buckets here with a couple of defensive stops to get some momentum going into that locker room, because right now this world team is in a great rhythm.
Now Muhammad has the last 8 points for the United States. They turn it over. Saric, little pump fake. Oh, what a shot with the right hand.
Well, that started with Savicovic's defensive pressure on Robinson, and they're pressing the USA team. They know their guard play. With Page not being able to play is not as good as usually is, and they're putting pressure, making them make basketball plays.
The United States not getting a whole lot of good looks right now as we go inside of 30 seconds. 3-second difference between the shot and the game clock.
This will be the pick and roll, roll and replace, pick and pop, and they're going to force USA again to make a decision on the hedge or the switch.
Final 11 seconds. Vetkovic count the basket, and it'll go to the line.
Very heady basketball player. That time he started to go off the pick and roll. He saw the hedge. He comes right back into the lane, pulls up for the little short mid-range jumper. And this happens because, again, when I talk about skill set, the ability to make basketball plays off of penetration, and they're causing this USA team a lot of problems, forcing them to rotate not just one time, but rotate 2-3 times. And again, a young team breaks down on defense. Anybody can rotate one time, but when you force teams to rotate 1, 2, 3 times, and you got a skill set that allows you to drive, kick, swing, and shoot, you're going to cause teams problems.
Well, we talked at the top of the show, and you know something about the pride factor when you have USA on your jersey. You were part of a number of teams. You won 3 gold medals as a coach, and there you are on the right-hand side.
I looked like Nipsey Russell right there. Who is that? That's like one of those blow-up fatheads. What do you guys do that to me for?
I was not going to say it, okay? I was going to say.
But you got Chris Ball sitting right there, Andre Iguodala, Aaron Brooks, Deron Williams. How about Carmelo Humphreys? And how about Humphreys in there? Boy, that was long before. What's his wife's name?
Mr. Kardashian?
Kardashian, yes. No, not on the floor right now, but that was an outstanding basketball team with a lot of talent on that team. And it was a lot of fun coaching that group, taking them overseas, of course, with Coach McKillop, Gary Waters on that team, my assistant coaches. We had fun going over to Venezuela with that basketball team. And I'm very proud to say I coached all those guys, especially seeing where they are today. All pro guys, all stars, millionaires. Wow, they've come a long way.
And just the fact, too, that you've been talking about it to me the last couple of days, the pride you had when you hear that national anthem being played. And that's something that USA Basketball is doing such a great job of getting these young players at the age of under 16 to get used to this international play, so they'll be ready when the time comes to play, for an Olympics and play for the United States.
Absolutely. They've marketed it well, because when you talk about USA Basketball, you look at the who's who of the NBA, I will guarantee you 90% of them on their resume, it says USA Basketball at some level or another.
Final 8 seconds. Shot clock turned off. And a whistle and a foul. 16-point lead. That's the biggest of the ball game for the world team so far tonight.
They have literally shocked this USA team.
And the crowd.
And they really have. And they've done it with some tenacious defense on one end of the floor and really some skilled, creative offensive penetration and kicking. And Coach Roy Reynolds has done a good job of getting them ready. He's thrown 2, 3, 4 guys out of practice over the last couple of days. He's yelled, screamed. He knows the magnitude of this game and what it means to play USA, and he has this team ready to play.
World on a 28 run the last 4:45, and that's the way it's going to end. So the 20-8 run the last 4:45 allows the world team to open up an 18-point lead. Wiggins, the only world player in double figures. Everyone but Siami has scored for the world team, along with Chijauskis. So they have had balanced scoring. And here's Rebecca.
All right, Coach, you're up against some of the best shooters in the entire nation at this level, yet you're holding this team to under 32%. What can you say about your defense?
I can say we were preparing. We know exactly what's the strong points of U.S. offense, and mental approach, I think, is the most important for this game, and I think that our players, at least in this half, respect the things what we told them.
Andrew Wiggins has been outstanding in this ball game. How has his presence just improved the spacing of your team offensively?
You know, his weakness was during those 5 days moving without the ball. We insist on that kind of things. He accepts that, and you can see the result, at least in this half.
Thanks, Coach.
Welcome.
World team controlling this ball game start to finish. They went on a 10 to start things off.
Wiggins was the difference in this ball game that started out because he was explosive to the hole, scoring all over the place. This is a very skilled basketball team.
Time with USA taking on the world. Welcome back to the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon for the Nike Hoop Summit. Welcome back to the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon for the Nike Hoop Summit. We are at halftime with USA taking on the world. There have been many great players who've appeared in the Nike Hoop Summit throughout the years. Here are just a few. In 1998, World Team member Dirk Nowitzki set a Nike Hoop Summit record with 33 points.
Once I got here, I was like, well, this is really bigger than I thought. And, you know, it was really kick-started my career. I mean, back then I was still planning on staying in Europe or, you know, maybe going to college. But after that game, everything was, you know, just... you know, the NBA, the scouts were everywhere. I had to give my first interview in English after the game, which was atrocious at best.
The Americans, are the best basketball players in the world, so we wanted to show that we can play in the world. We can play basketball too.
2 years later, another world team player, Tony Parker from France, impressed San Antonio Spurs scouts.
Nike Hoop Summit, it was a chance for me to show my talent, and I think Dirk did the same thing to him because I think nobody knew him before the Nike Hoop Summit, and it was the same thing for me. So it always feels great, when you're considered like one of the best European players, and Nike Hoop Summit definitely helped me.
In 2006, future Oklahoma City Thunder All-Star Kevin Durant tallied 20 points in Team USA's win.
Oh, it always feels good to represent your whole country. A lot of people watch that game, so for us to represent our country very well is an honor for us.
In 2008, Chicago high schooler Derrick Rose dazzled the crowd of the FedEx Forum in Memphis, while teammate Kevin Love scored 13 points, a year before becoming the Pac-10's Player of the Year, and now an NBA All-Star with the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Being a high school kid, getting to go up against such great competition, but also playing in an arena in the NBA that you hope to be in, the next couple of years. So, everything about the whole situation and experience was great.
4 years ago, Tyreke Evans made a statement for Team USA 2 years before becoming NBA Rookie of the Year.
It was a fun game. I was excited to play for the U.S., and it was a great feeling to be there.
Just a touch of the fantastic talent adorning Team USA in world uniforms through the years in the Nike Hoop Summit. Sun is setting in Portland, Oregon. It's the USA versus the world at the Nike Hoop Summit. We'll take a break, but on the other side, Rebecca Harlow will be joined by USA Basketball Executive Director Jim Tooley.
Doc. Okay, Doc, I need someone to cue me because I can. Okay.
The world team sitting on their biggest lead of the ball game. It's at 18. The United States has never led in this basketball game, 52-34. We're at halftime, and Rebecca standing by with the executive director of USA Basketball, Jim Tooley. Rebecca?
And Jim Tooley not concerned about the score because, of course, when you're selecting these players for this team, one thing that you look for, discipline and defense. How do you expect this team will turn things around in the second half?
Well, we didn't have very good discipline in the first half, but we expect them to come out, get some stops, got to start rebounding the ball, and start making some shots.
Nike Hoop Summit is so exciting because it features some of the best USA players at this level in the ball game, but at the same time, it's an Olympic year. So how is this event setting things up for the Olympic run?
Well, these guys are our future Olympians, we think. You know, this is the beginning of our pipeline. We start with U16 and U17-year-old teams, and then it culminates with the Olympic Games, which are this summer in London.
Since the last Olympics, and then now 4 years later, things have grown so much for USA basketball. Guys say that a goal is to play in the Olympics, play for Team USA. How have you been able to create that unity across all of your USA teams?
Well, it really started in 2006 when we started with a national team program on the men's side. We had great results in Beijing with a gold medal, both men and women. And we've had that continuity amongst our players. And so we started with the elite level, the Olympic Games team, and that's funneled down to all our junior programs.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
And we're going to send Mr. Tooley back to the locker room because I think he has one or two things to say to his guys about discipline here in the second half.
All right, thanks, Rebecca. Once again, the United States trying to make up an 18-point deficit. 3 blocks for the world team, including this one by Wang Jaelin. Led to the fast break. The USA in a big hole, but we still have plenty of basketball left from the Nike Hoop Summit in Portland.
You're watching the Nike Hoop Summit.
You want to wear this? Or you want to hook them? All right. Okay.
Yes, what?
Welcome back to the Nike Hoop Summit. That's a good look at the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon. And inside, the world team, courtesy of shooting 56%, they lead it 52-34, along with the coach, Ernie Kent. I'm Rob Thulin. Good to have you with us today. That first half, I think, it all started out when Andrew Wiggins got the first basket of the ball game, and they stayed hot from then on.
Andrew Wiggins could play in the NBA right now as far as I'm concerned because he has an unbelievable game. He gets set with his feet. He can attack the bucket. He knows when to jab. Watch this jab step. That's an NBA jab stepping up a la Kobe Bryant. And then again, he finishes. He's such a great athlete. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to set you up. He can shoot three. He can get to the hole. He has a phenomenal basketball game. I can imagine where he's going to be in a couple of years. And then on the other side of it is Shabazz Muhammad almost equaled his play just in terms of the explosiveness. He had more points, more shots, but he too can get to the hole. He understands that mid-range game is effective. Here he is posting up using his size and strength inside with a left-handed fadeaway jump hook, and obviously he can finish strong to the basket. He too is putting on a show right now.
Well, he played 19 of the 24 minutes in the opening half. Let's take a look at our Nike first half stats.
Well, the thing that jumps out at me is the world team, 56%. That is a team that is a very skilled basketball team that gives the ball up. They got 12 assists in the game already. I just think they're an explosive basketball team that is really showing this USA team a lesson on how to play skilled basketball.
Well, there's still a lot of basketball left to be played, 24 minutes to be exact, but the USA down by 18. And here's one of the famous alumni from the USA team.
I'm Kevin Love, and you're watching the Nike Hoop Summit.
The 2012 Nike Hoop Summit from the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon is brought to you by Nike Basketball and by USA Basketball. And a good look on top of the Rose Garden here in Portland, Oregon. And but a pretty good first half. Andrew Wiggins leading the world team with 15 points. Once again, 9 of their 11 players were able to score for the United States. Only 5 scored. Shabazz Muhammad with 22, but you were talking about how many shots he took during that opening half. In fact, Muhammad took 15 of their 39 shots. As a coach, if you go into halftime, what would you have said?
Well, first of all, I would have closed the door and had one of them there talks, because this is USA. You should not be dominated like this, especially when you're playing here on your own court and everything else. So I think that needs to be addressed, number one, just in terms of the intensity of the game. And number two, I just think they need to get out in attack mode more. Get out and transition more. And, of course, to do that, you got to do a better job defensively so you can get out and run. And, yes, Shabazz took 15 shots. That's probably too many when you look at a team full of stars. That ball probably needs to be shared a little bit more. But he was the guy that was making things happen in the ball game.
Now the world team will start the game with the basketball. Once again, they shot 56% in that opening 24 minutes. Saric loses the basketball. Westerman, nice pass to Bennett. The no look inside. Tied up. Can't get it to go. And Muhammad with the rebound. He's got 6 rebounds. Anderson for 3. But the putback. Talk about Johnny on the spot. Archie Goodwin.
Archie Goodwin, again, he has a lot in his game. He pushes it down the floor. He can defend. He rebounds. I like how active he is.
Inside, Wiggins can't get it to go. Bennett knocks it around. Saric to Bennett. He loses the handle again. Here comes Goodwin's got Muhammad on his right. He loses the handle.
Well, he probably should have gave the basketball up. And again, when you talk about the skill set, what an outstanding play that was by Noel.
That's his second block of the ball game. And Kyle Anderson comes up shaking that left wrist.
You know, he's such a good shot blocker. The reason for that, he can use both hands. That time he blocks it with his left hand. We saw early in the game he had a shot block down it with his right hand.
Well, his frame is maturing, Nerlens Noel is. He's getting some strength. He already has the explosiveness. 4 to shoot.
They go right back to the pick and roll and get another wide open 3.
And Sarge with a little flip shot, rebounded by Mohammed. Gives it up to Robinson. Mohammed, a little shake and bake. Never had his hand on the basketball. And D'Elia cannot believe he was called for the foul.
You know, I'm going to talk basketball for a minute because Mohammed Shabazz, I mean, he gets in the lane and he draws the foul. But you've got to understand, you've got to swing the basketball side, middle, side, because what happens is it forces the defense to rotate. And when you can break down the defense and get them to rotate 1, 2, 3 times, now you're getting an uncontested jump shot or an uncontested layup versus always having to drive into traffic and force up a shot, hoping to get a foul or maybe even getting it blocked.
Now Mohammed, the Naismith Player of the Year once again.
Very
complete offensive player.
I was going to say he was a very, very gifted player.
Once again, he'll be making his decision where he should go to college on April the 11th. Already seen some signs pop up referring to Kentucky, and they want a couple of these guys to end up with Coach Cal. Nerlens may have got a piece of it again, and the ball will belong to the world team with 8 to shoot.
Understand the world team is not running 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plays. They're running 2 plays. The pick and roll up top or the double high ball screen up top.
Wiggins lets it fly. Noel comes down with a loose ball. Goodwin, no. Mohammed with a left hand, and he's got it. Mohammed with 26 in the ball game, and the lead is cut down to a dozen.
It's cut to a dozen, but again, the athleticism on the floor, quickness on the floor, they need to be able to handle the pick and roll a little bit better.
Well, Svetkovic was able to get around Mohammed. Mohammed almost committed the infraction. Westerman from France, the pull up, the little flick shot. Noel had it, lost it, and it looks like Bennett came up a little bit limping underneath the basket. And at right ankle, and he's going to hobble off.
He's been the guy that sets all the ball screens, and he's so good at rolling to the bucket. He has a pretty good perimeter game as well, too. We'll see how much that's going to affect this world team.
Sarge, a couple of dribbles on the drive. Nice unselfish pass, but D'Elia can't finish.
Again, they force USA to rotate.
Nice defense by Westerman. He just guessed where Anderson was going to go. The no-look pass to Wiggins. A little too fancy, and the ball will belong to the world team.
It was a little too fancy, but they're a team that definitely looks to pass first, shoot second. And again, that's what makes them very difficult to guard because they force you to rotate on defense and guard one more play. And eventually this young USA team is going to break down because they haven't played together long enough.
Exactly. Once again, they've only been together since Thursday. Whistle and a foul on Anderson.
You need to mention with this world team also, every single player, I think with the exception of Wiggins, has played on multiple national teams.
Right.
And the majority of them play professionally where they have signed contracts playing for teams, and they can even be on loan and go play for another pro team. They've got a lot of experience in understanding how to play at international level and playing in a lot of basketball games.
No, you're right. The only one but Anthony Bennett and Wiggins are not playing on a club team professionally. So 9 out of 11 players, that's pretty good.
And you may ask, well, why not USA and why don't they come to colleges over here? Well, those teams over in Europe, those club teams are pretty smart because with the NCAA rules, once they sign that pro contract and start getting those benefits, they can't come to the USA and play college ball in fear that if they come here and play, they will never come back and play for their club teams and obviously have great careers here, get signed by agents here in the U.S., and then go on and play professionally here in the U.S. So they locked them up early so they can not come over here and play college ball.
Now we look at Marcos D'Elia. He'll be celebrating his 20th birthday tomorrow. Last year he signed with the Boca Juniors. We're talking about the club team. That's the top level of our Argentinian basketball. Short arms the free throw.
I played against those Argentina teams, and he's a typical player, smart, skilled, ability to put it down and shoot it for a guy his size, and really understands how to play the game.
Noel had the rebound, had it knocked away, but the USA comes out with it. Here comes Kyle Anderson.
I'll say it again, their guard play needs to be quicker. They have so many chances to get down the floor and make basketball plays and have numbers, but they just don't have the quickness and speed to push it down the floor every time. Whereas the world team, they are attacking and they have the opportunity to get numbers and make basketball plays.
I tell you what, I'm impressed with the passing of Šarić. He finds D'Elia again wide open.
And what he does is he breaks down the defense. He forces you to rotate 1 or 2 times, and it's giving them easy layups or easy three-point shots.
Now the world here in the third quarter, just 1 of 13 shooting. The United States now 3 of 6.
That was with his left hand at point blank. That was a nice move to be able to put it down and put it into your left hand to keep the ball away from the defender and finish above the rim.
Well, he led Tilton to the state title in New England Prep School, Athletic Council's 2A.
This world team, again, they just stick Wiggins over in the dead corner and they spread you out. They look to beat you off the dribble. They're going to force USA to rotate, and in their rotations, they don't realize how spaced the floor is, and they collapse on the ball, which is what you're taught in high school, to collapse and rotate and guard the box or crowd the box, and they just drive, kick, swing. They love playing USA teams because we teach weak side help, weak side defense, collapse on the drive, and they just drive, kick, swing, drive, kick, swing, and give you open jumpers.
So Gary Harris, number 7, the Michigan State signees checked into the lineup. Tony Parker still deciding where he's going to go to school. He's also checked in, number 14. So Kevin Boyle trying to alternate that lineup, going a little bit bigger, because you take Anderson out, but he's more of a guard player, a small forward.
Well, he's got some problems again because they have to guard the ball. And if they guard the ball, then you can stay home and take the three-point shot out of their arsenal. But anytime you're forced to rotate, it's going to give you shots. And, of course, at this end, they're going to make people like Tony Parker shoot jump shots on him. They're not going to give him dunks and layups.
That's right. And D'Elia with the outstretched hands. Jajowskis on the dribble drive, and he draws the whistle on the contact.
On-ball defense has been very poor in this game. Again, these young players are going to really get taught a lesson when they go to Michigan State, when they go to Duke, when they get to Michigan, when they get to Kentucky, get to UCLA. Defense, defense, defense. You have got to be able to guard the ball, because if not, you force teams to penetrate, and when they penetrate, they force you to rotate. And when you have to rotate 1-2 times, you are going to get beat on that possession.
And a good look at Vytenis Jajuskas, the 19-year-old out of Lithuania. Plays for the Lithuanians under-19 team. Started his pro career, though, we're talking about professional career, back in 07 and 08.
Again, you mentioned that word professional. These are teams that have played for multinational teams, international experience. They played against older players. They're the younger player on some of those older teams over there. They know how to play. They're very good basketball players that are very skilled.
Robinson was trying to connect with Noel with the alley-oop, and it didn't work. The world team has the advantage by 14.
Well, they certainly do, and here's an unbelievable pass by Sark Vinelli here, and he does a good job of finishing at the hole, takes the hit, and finishes the play.
USA trailed by 18 at intermission. Now it is 14, and they're being led by Shabazz Muhammad with 26 points to go along with a bunch of rebounds. He does everything.
Well, in our scouting report, we talked about him being his skill set was very good. He's athletic. He can get to the hole. He has that mid-range game. And he has tradition in his family, as Rebecca has an opportunity to talk to Ron Holmes, the father of Shabazz Muhammad.
Well, that's right, but he says it's not like father, like son, it's like mom. So how did he get his intensity from his mother?
Well, she's very intense. She was an All-American in basketball and track, but her attitude was more like his, and I think that's why he's pretty successful.
Now, you were a star at USC. Was there any pressure for your son to attend that school?
Well, all my kids growing up, it was a pro-USC house because I'm so pro-USC. Mom, not so much. But USC was really in on the recruitment for him for a long period of time. But once he narrowed it down at the end, he just chose the schools that he was more interested in.
Now, just recently named Naismith High School Player of the Year. What is that like for a father to see a son get that kind of recognition?
Pretty proud of him in that regard. He's worked hard for it. And, I mean, you can't really plan on that happening, but he's worked hard and things fell his way, and we're proud of him.
And announcing just around the corner where he might be attending, can you give us any insight?
Well, we're going to still really talk about that. We're going to figure it out this week, and then we'll make a decision. So it should be interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess we know it's not USC, guys.
Narrowed it down by one as Jalen working hard, takes a couple of elbows to the face. Here are the numbers on Shabazz Muhammad today. 8 of 16, 8 rebounds, go along with 26 points.
I want to know who can win the horse games in the driveway still, because Dad could shoot the basketball too, so that's what I want to know. I know who's going to win the one-on-one games, but I'm talking about when you don't have to move around, you just sit there and shoot the ball and play horse, because at our ages, he's not going too much one-on-one moving around with that young athlete.
There's a good look at Wang Jaelin, just 18 years of age. On the Asian title for the under-18 China national team in 2010. And the lead gets pushed back to a dozen inside of 4.5 to play here in quarter number 3. Once again, 4 12-minute quarters here in international play.
They're back to that zone now, and they're going to match up with it. It'll look like at times a 1-2-2, at times a 2-3. They just match up. They even kind of double team the ball, keep you kind of corralled in. They are forcing USA again to think the game, use their skill set, and I don't think that's the shot they want.
No. Wiggins comes down with a rebound. Loses the handle. It'll belong to the world team. As Kyle Anderson will check back in for Team USA. Tony Parker will get a breather. And Andrew Wiggins will trigger it in. One of the youngest ever to play for a select team at 17 years of age. A very young 17. Jalen. Noel, nice job knocking it away. Šarić, the pull-up from 17, tough shot. Losing the handle, but it belonged to the world team with 22 to shoot.
It was a tough shot because that time they kept the ball in front of them, USA, and they did a good job of on-ball defense. That's the key to their success in this game, to be able to stop penetration right now.
Šarić with the ball over his head, swings it back across court.
Penetration.
Again, ends up with an easy 2 by Wang Jaelin.
On-ball defense. This team has to do a much better job of guarding the basketball, as Robinson got a hit to the chin there, to the mouth a little bit, and he's struggling a little bit. They're going to have to have a substitution, get him out of the game.
Jaelin now with 11 points and 5 rebounds. Let's see if we can see what happened.
Well, you see he gets blown by on defense. He reaches in a little bit, and then he gets a little payback. So he kind of reached in with an accidental hit. And then this is a tough world team. He gets a pop back in the mouth, but he's going to be okay.
Now, Svetkovic got him with that shoulder, and Suleiman checks into the lineup for the United States. He's got the basketball, and they lose the basketball. Westerman inside with a left hand, count it. Another fast break opportunity for this world team. We've gone inside the 3-minute mark here in the third. And the lead back up to 16. The southpaw Muhammad, no.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm going to tell you, the speed of this world team is surprising. They can get by USA, blow by them like they are right now.
Mohammed, nice pass to Nerlens Noel with a slam. Got to get some easy baskets. Wiggins, though, comes back with the three.
Okay, Ron, I'm going to tell you, Wiggins can shoot the three.
Yeah.
Take it away from him. Make him drive, because he walked down that time into an NBA three-pointer and knocked it in.
That's his second three-pointer made of the evening. Noel keeps it alive to Mohammed. The turn, the shot, no.
Tough shot. That's a tough shot. I'll say it again. What the zone is doing, USA is forcing them to jump shoot the basketball. And sometimes the long rebounds are leading into some fast transition by this world team. They need more movement, more ball movement, player movement on that end of the floor.
Wiggins does a nice job of just lowering the shoulder to get Suleiman out of the way, but he can't get the shot to go down. Ball will belong to Team USA. And the foul goes against Dennis Chijauskas. Third team foul.
Putting a lot of pressure on this USA team to shoot the basketball on the perimeter of the zone right now. And if they continue to take bad shots, they're going to play into the hands of this world team, because usually with bad shots leave the bad defensive transition. So the key is they've got to do a better job of attacking the inside out, either by the dribble or by the pass, and create some ball movement, some player movement, and force this world team to rotate a little bit.
Well, Mitch McGary, number 13, is checked into the lineup for Team USA. By the way, Anthony Bennett is up and around the world bench, seems to be okay. Anderson, nice pass inside to Mohammed.
Ball goes inside. Mohammed cuts baseline. Anderson, with that skill set of his, does a nice job of finding him along the baseline. Inside, outside, back inside action again.
Once again, 34 points is the record for most points scored in this game by a player, and right now Mohammed's got 28. And that's going to be a whistle and a foul as they try to break.
Well, another thing that the world teams do a good job of is that they take away your breaks with the fouls like that, because they keep you out of transition. And of course, here's the inside play off the dribble against that zone. And Shabazz Muhammad finishes strong at the hole. Inside penetration, breaking down the zone, forcing the world team to rotate, leaving Shabazz open on the baseline.
Now Anthony Bennett's checked back into the lineup. He's telling us the other day he knows the USA team better than he knows the world team. He says, I know all the guys on Team USA. Mohammed's jumper, no. Siami can't get the rebound. Suleiman for three. Ball is still loose, and the United States comes up with it, and we've got a whistle and a foul.
Nice hustle by Mitch McGary. They're heading to Michigan. I see his dad over there with a big Michigan shirt on right now, but this is good hustle, good job to get him to the floor. And again, he's a player that's going to really help the Michigan team. They needed some size inside, and he certainly brings that to him, but he has an ability to score the ball as well, and he is a winner coming from a great program.
Absolutely. He had a great summer, was a highly rated player. He's a physical player, does a lot of the dirty work. He's at the line, and is Gary Harris. Here's a guy that played football for 3 years, was a wide receiver. Told me yesterday he had multiple football offers, including some major schools, but he just decided he wanted to play basketball. Of course, he once again, as Coach Kent mentioned, going to Michigan State. Inside of a minute.
That is a nice move by Mitch McGary there. Coach Beilein is going to be happy to get him, because that's a pretty athletic move for a guy that size. But USA needs to make this more of a helter-skelter game. Get out and press, get some turnovers, and get the running in transition, because they're really stagnant in their half-court offense. And, of course, in this play here, they get the steal, they get it transition. For a big guy this size to be able to switch the ball in the other hand and make this play in midair, that's impressive right there. And Beilein is going to be very impressed with him. I talked to him also at the Final Four. They were happy to get this young man. They talked about his work ethic. They talked about him being a winner, his character. He's going to fit in nicely with the Michigan Wolverines. Had a good team. They needed some size inside. Go along with Hardaway, some of those great guards. And, of course, they have it in McGary.
Well, McGary's high school team, the Brewster Academy, they finished the season 33-1 this past season. So when you talk about being a winner, he's coming from a very great, outstanding program. Bennett at the line. He's only been playing basketball again the last couple of weeks. He had some hamstring problems a few weeks ago, and they had to sit him down. Just starting to get back into basketball shape.
Well, it looks like he's limping to me. I'm surprised they have him back in the game right now because he's hobbling out on the floor.
And Mohammed with a quick little shot. And Mohammed's got 30 as the USA now on an 8-0 run, and they've cut the lead down to 9.
Making one of those NBA comebacks. And they're down
Absolutely.
by 20, all of a sudden now it's a 9-point game.
Kevin Boyle wants the pressure, and they're getting it. Westerman tries to dribble away from it. Fans wanted a walk. Wiggins for 3. With 5 seconds, plenty of time left. USA had it, lost it, and it'll be USA's ball with 1.2 to play in the quarter.
Good job of scrambling by USA just to be able to close the quarter on some momentum with this 8-0 run. It'd be nice if they had a play. I don't think they do with 1.2 seconds left to get a shot here, but nice job defensively of getting back into the game with some pressure defense in the full court.
Once again, the biggest lead for the world team was 18 points. The USA trailed by 14 at intermission. They've cut into that. They've made it a 9-point game. A lot of great action so far, but we still have 12 minutes left. Can the United States team overcome this deficit? Welcome back to the Nike Hoops Summit in Portland, Oregon, along with Ernie Kent. I'm Ron Thulin. Good to have you with us today. And the United States has cut the lead down to 9 as we take a look at the Nike game summary. And I think the key when you look at, you see obviously Mohammed having a great game, is that the world team was shooting 56% at the end of the first half. They're down to 37%. They made only 4 field goals in that third quarter. Defense got punched up.
Well, the defense got punched up, and that got USA back in this game. They can continue the momentum, but they've given up 17 offensive rebounds in this game, and that's the difference in the game. When you start giving up offensive rebounds, and those are point-blank layups, and you have maybe the possibility of fouling also, that's called blocking out. That's being more fundamentally sound, and that's again where young players don't understand. They've gotten away from using their athleticism so much in high school. They're not fundamentally sound to get a body on somebody, and this world team has exploited them.
See if the USA can cut the lead even more, and they do. Kyle Anderson, the UCLA soon-to-be product, and they force the turnover.
That pressure is starting to wear on the world team. USA is continuing to pressure the ball, pressure when it comes from out of bounds. Pressure, 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 and that quickness and athleticism is starting to pay off now.
Mohammed, no. Wiggins the rebound. They'll go the other way. The lead is 7. This is the closest the United States has been since very early on in this ball game. Wiggins a lot of dribbling, and Harris just reaches around, count the basket, and a foul.
You know, again, this is all set up with the pick and roll. USA needs to maybe switch this, even though it's a mismatch on the switch. They're having all kind of problems trying to guard this. He comes off the pick and roll, comes right back in and gets around the defender. On-ball defense has been lacking in this game. Gets him into his shooting pocket right in the lane, and the and one is right there with the reach around.
And he misses the free throw, but the world team gets the rebound. They can't convert. Let's check in with Rebecca Harlow, who's got a very special guest. Rebecca?
Leo Westerman out of France. The guards have done a fantastic job in transition, but Team USA putting some pressure on this team. What can you do defensively to get stops down the stretch?
First of all, we got to stop Mohamed because he scored a lot. And we got to stop the transition and the offensive rebound because United States are very athletic and we have to back out and take all the rebound.
The NBA lockout affected Leo in particular. Tony Parker came over and played on your team. What was it like playing with him?
It was a great experience, you know. I learned a lot. Tony is a great guy, so it was every time talking with the young guy. It was very great, and I learned a lot with him.
Tony Parker and the San Antonio Spurs, of course, have won championships. What is the best advice he has given you as you continue your career? Because you were texting with him even just this week.
Yeah, I text with him because he's my general manager, so he let me come right there. So he told me that he's happy for me, and that's it.
Thanks so much.
All right, Rebecca, in the meantime, Mohamed with 32 points in the ball game, 2 points off the scoring record for the Nike Hoop Summit. They've done it with great defense, and the USA has cut the lead down to 5. 8:21 left to play in the ball game. Welcome back to the Nike Hoops Summit along with 30 Kent, Rebecca Harlow, I'm Ron Thulin. The USA has come back from an 18-point deficit. They've done it a number of different ways.
Well, the biggest way has been with their defense, but then also their unselfishness in transition where they've been giving the basketball up and getting layup after layup. And, of course, Shabazz Muhammad, he's just been on fire in the game. But I just like the way they're starting to attack now. Gary Harris attacks. Rasheed Suleiman, outstanding defense. And then watch this team play. Gives the ball up. How about that? Duke fans, get ready for a guy that's going to play very unselfish and outstanding defense for you in Rasheed Suleiman. This team now has got the pressure cranked up. They need to continue to put pressure. And, of course, you got Shabazz Muhammad ready to break a record in this game. And Tono Poise scored right there in front of Pops. Says, Pops, I can score better than you.
I don't think Pops wants to take him out a little of backyard basketball, do you?
No.
I think that dream is gone. That's out the window. There you can see the Hoop Summit scoring leaders. Ennis Kantner with 34. Shabazz Muhammad now with 32. About to pass Dirk Nowitzki. That halftime interview with Nowitzki when he was playing this game was still, that has to be one of the most priceless things I've ever seen. I think we need to give that to the guys who do the Maverick games and just let them use that for a halftime feature.
USA has really cranked up their defense now, starting to get into passing lanes, pressuring the ball. If they can spread the floor now and continue to play unselfish basketball, that's the thing that's got them back into the game. Defense and sharing the basketball.
Suleiman has made a big difference since he's come into the lineup. 4 to shoot, 3 to shoot. Anderson's got to let it fly. Whistle and a foul. That just makes a coach go nuts.
Well, it does, but understand, he's 6'8" and skilled enough to come off the dribble. And in that time, he did a good job of attacking Savekovic. And he did, I mean, he tried to get his hands up, but, you know, he's sitting there at 6'2", trying to guard a guy that's 6'8" and end up committing a foul.
Yeah, they're going to bring Anthony Bennett back into the lineup for the world team. Also, Wang Jae-Lin will come in, and Kyle Anderson will go to the line. Anderson with 7 points, 4 assists in this ball game, and 8 rebounds.
These are big free throws. Obviously, you get an opportunity to cut the lead down to, you know, to 4 points here if he can make this one. But it gives you a chance to set up the press when he makes this free throw, and that's the thing that's been causing this world team some problems right now.
He was one of 6 finalists for the Morgan Wooten Player of the Year award. Also one of 4 finalists for the Naismith Trophy. Westerman comes into the lineup for the world team. Also checking back in, Horace Yogela. Jae-Lin inside, nice move, got Noel up in the air.
Got to understand, this world team has played a lot of basketball on a national level, and they understand how to play the game. The shot fakes as we get a big bucket from Rasheed Suleiman. Again, comes through in a big way.
From Straight Jesuit College Prep in Houston, Texas.
Boy, his energy has been outstanding in the last 5 minutes of the game, just creating havoc on the floor.
Wiggins off balance shot. Jae-Lin, the putback.
Offensive rebounds. No question. Offensive rebound has killed this team. That's their 19th offensive rebound, and they've given up a lot of point-blank layups by not blocking out.
Jae-Lin, 15 points, 6 rebounds in the ballgame. USA only down by 5, and it stays at 5. Gogela, no. Here comes the United States. Have a chance to cut the lead even more. Mohammed, the floater, no. The putback by Anderson.
You know, it was a good putback, but the play that time was in the corner. You had a wide open Harris sitting over there. And again, if that's that world team, that is a kick to the middle, kick to the open three-point shooter. Luckily, though, Anderson's right there to finish up on the play.
And the lead is just 3. Yogela has to give it up to Westerman. Closing it on 6 minutes to play in the ball game. Wang Jae-Lin from the outside. Nice job by Anderson. He gets up very slowly on the far end. Rejection by Wiggins. And I think Anderson's gas tank may be empty.
That shot last time was blocked because of the spacing on the floor. Those two guards are too close together. Wiggins ends up playing Harris and then goes off and gets the block on Rasheed Suleiman because Suleiman needed to spread out to the corner and create spacing, so there was no opportunity to recover on his jump shot, and that's why he got it blocked.
Well, they're going to take Anderson in the locker room. He was grabbing the back of one of his legs, looked like a hamstring.
Well, it could have been a cramp, too, because he had that one-handed rebound down at this end of the floor that started the transition, and he took a spill on the floor, so let's hope he's okay. And I don't think you can do that because you cannot go into the backcourt at international level. That ball has to be put into the front court. When you throw it backward, that becomes a violation. That is one of those rules we saw early in the game. And, of course, from my days overseas in Saudi Arabia playing on international rules, when that ball went in the air, I said, uh-oh, here comes the violation.
A lot of the players for Team USA have played international rules, just not a lot of them. Not a lot of games.
It's something we can do in our rules, but you can't do that in, obviously, in international rules, throw the ball in the backcourt. From the side, you cannot inbound it to where it goes into the backcourt.
Well, the USA gets a break with 5:43 left in the ball game, trailing by just 3. USA has never led in this game. Trailed by 14 at halftime. The biggest lead for the world team was 18. Suleiman, the pull-up jumper, in and out.
Critical point in the game. You've had the unforced turnover with the backcourt violation. World team comes down and throws it away. You're at the 5-minute mark. Who's going to control the game now? In the next 2 to 3 minutes is going to be critical.
Svetkovic was not going to be denied on that play.
He's created a lot of problems. He's so quick off the dribble. When he gets into the lane, he just understands whether to shoot the layup or kick it to Wiggins in the corner.
Mohammed for 3!
Who said Mohammed Suleiman needed to work on his perimeter game? When he gets his feet set, for the last couple of days, he's knocked down three-pointer after three-pointer.
Alley-oop to Wiggins, and with that three by Muhammad, he is the leading scorer in Nike hoop history.
Got a nice game on him again. We talked about his athleticism, his ability to have that inside game, outside game was his weakness. He's not shown that in this game this evening. He can get to the hole. He drives hard. He's had a fantastic game. He's kept USA in it early. Dad's happy. We're happy. We're coming down to a terrific finish in this ball game.
Let's go back to the last bucket by Shabazz Muhammad.
Well, the thing that he does well is he understands how to play the game. He sets up. He just comes off that time and gets his feet set with no hesitation, shoots the ball in. But the key in that was he got his feet set, got his feet underneath him, and knocked it down. He's had a very good ball game here. He needs to take a drink because they have used almost all of the gas in that tank because they've rode him hard in this game to create some scoring, particularly early on when they were struggling in the game.
Well, the United States 6 of 12 shooting here in quarter number 4. The world team 4 of 8. So both teams shooting well, but the big story is the fact that the United States now trails by just 2. And there's still a lot of time left in this game.
Let's talk about the last couple of days, what we've seen out of this USA team. You're talking about character. I mean, granted, Wang has played well at the other end and he had a nice game so far, but this USA team, they've shown tremendous character because we've talked to all of these players. Every guy is a nice guy. Same thing last year, every single guy. So mom and dad, they're to be commended because they're doing a nice job, but there's a message being sent to these USA players. Some people think it's the Twitter game and social media where they can see players like Durant, Rose, LeBron James, see how they handle themselves in the media. The day-to-day lives of those guys, how polished and poised they are. There is a message that's being sent that these young players have picked up because they are a very nice group of young men, very well respectable to you.
Outstanding to talk to. Little hesitation, the spin move, the scoop shot won't go for Goodwin. Jaylin throws it away. Count the basket by Harris, and the lead is now 0. We are tied at 72.
That time Jaylin should have gave the ball up. You know, 7-footers, put it on the floor a little bit too long and it'll be gone.
There you go. The pressure by the United States starting to wear on the world team. Jaylin inside, and he gives the world team the advantage again by 2.
Well, they did a nice job, and they allowed Nerlens Noel to come over and help. And that time, Archie Goodwin didn't rotate on the back line and ended up giving up a layup. So again, USA being a young team, penetration really causes them problems.
Crowd of over 10,000 on hand tonight. Now they're getting into it. Goodwin will draw the whistle on the contact. I'll tell you, Archie Goodwin has done so many things tonight that aren't showing up in the scorebook. He's provided energy, defense.
Well, he plays so hard and so fast when the ball is in his hands that he just creates havoc on the floor. And when he doesn't have the ball, his energy level is good. He goes after loose balls. He goes after rebounds. You know, Kentucky fans down there, you're going to be happy with this young man because, again, he gives you an opportunity to have a player that has the ability to break you down off the dribble, get into the lane, force teams to foul. Think about this. Kentucky was one of the few teams in the country that made more free throws than the opponent attempted, and that's because their ability to get into the lane and get fouled. And the same thing happened in the national championship game against Kansas.
Well, Kyle Anderson's okay. He comes back into the lineup, and Goodwin will sit down. And the USA showing some pressure.
If you're going to pressure, you got to go all out. You cannot have a double team and give an opportunity to split the double team by the dribble or pass.
Well, Jaylin moves his feet, and the United States will have it with 3:33 to play.
They need to pressure their guards. Don't just stand in a trap and allow them to pass over the top of the trap. Make them put the ball on the floor and handle versus that pressure. Maybe get them to dribble it off the leg or something.
Kyle Anderson slowly bringing it over the timeline. Muhammad's still playing with a lot of energy. Anderson, one dribble, tries to get over Jaylin, and he does, and the United States has their first lead of the ball game.
He's so long and so smooth. You don't think he's running hard, playing hard, and doing things, and that's because he's so skilled and he's so smooth at scoring the basketball.
Vetkovic tries a little crossover on Suleiman. Wang Jaelin is going to be fouled as he's getting a little more physical right now. And Jaelin will go to the free throw line.
You know, again, when you talk about a world team, they're great at penetrating. They force you to rotate, but then there's another rotator that doesn't happen. Rotation doesn't happen on the floor, and that's why this play has been so effective for them. And the guards are good enough that if you do rotate off that weak side, they spot that three-point shooter sitting on that weak side. So you kind of like pick your poison. You want to give up a dunk, or do you want to give up a wide open three? How do you stop it? Guard the ball and don't get beat off of penetration.
Wang Jaelin, 18 points, 8 rebounds in the ball game.
Best Chinese player to play in this game. I'm going to say that now. He's poised, he's polished, he's smiling out on the floor. He understands how to play the game. He is going to be a very good basketball player.
And Mohammed with the air ball.
Runs well, too.
He runs very well for his size. Once again, he's a 7-footer. Wiggins. That's going to be a blocking foul against the United States. Suleiman tried to get position on that.
Well, he tried, but Wiggins is such a skilled basketball player. He just turns on the jets off the dribble and just creates the body contact right there. He knows he was going to create it. He knows he's moving. That's just a smart-headed basketball player on Wiggins' part as well, too.
Tied at 75, 2:42 to play in the ball game. Jaelin wants the basketball. That's going to be an offensive foul on Dario Saric.
Nice job by Kyle Anderson, anticipating what the offensive player is going to do. A hard step to the baseline, picks up the charge, gets a square on the body. Again, I really like his game. UCLA Bruins, boy, maybe that Pac-12 has an opportunity to make a comeback now because UCLA is loading up with some talented basketball players.
It's funny because Kyle Anderson was saying, I've been in the ears of Shabazz Muhammad and Nerlens Noel about coming to UCLA.
Well, you bet. He's their best recruiter right now.
He is. But I'm sure the guys going to Kentucky are also in their ears, too. And the chant of USA begins inside the Rose Garden. Suleiman, the pull-up.
Suleiman really rises up on his jump shot.
And a whistle and a foul. Noel thought he had a jump ball. And Noel picks up foul number 3.
Noel is a good player in a half-court game where he can sit back and block shots. This game has been so up-tempo by the world team, and then they drive so much, forcing him to rotate, and then the rotation is not there on the weak side. He's almost made his shot blocking ineffective at times.
Petkovic, 7 to shoot, plenty of time. Nice move by Dario Saric. The Croatian saw a little gap, even though he was off balance. USA down by 2.
A lot of poise by Kyle Anderson there, boy. He's got a good game on him. He's poised. He just tries to make the right play every time down the floor.
Harris. Jaelin had to guard him, and he short arms it. Rebound controlled by Saric.
How about the blockouts by Saric that time? And Westerman, they just had their guys locked up. They were not going anywhere again. That's the experience of this world team playing on that international stage so often.
USA has only lost 3 games in Nike Hoop Summit history. Ball will belong to the United States. Good hustle. And we're going to have a timeout called by the United States with 1:13 to play in the ball game. Shabazz Muhammad, what a game.
Boy, he's had an unbelievable game. He's just put on a show. Early on, you thought he was shooting the ball too much, but he had to shoot because nobody else was scoring the ball. And then he got on fire, and he started showing you the versatility of his game. Inside, running the baseline against his own, getting the dunk in transition, getting the ball from Suleiman, who gave him up. And then again, the big three-pointer after getting his feet set has set a record here in this building tonight. On fire, Shabazz Muhammad, he has the complete package in his game.
35 points, 12 of 26 shooting, throw in 9 rebounds. And the Nike Hoop Summit's all-time scoring record, along with playing 35 minutes in this basketball game. All but about 11 of them so far. But his team still trails by a deuce. They've come back from an 18-point deficit.
Well, they got themselves in a 2-point game, a minute 13 to go, and that's a lot of time in the game for a lot to go on. But the key thing in the game now is to get stops. They've got to keep the ball in front of them and not give up defensive penetration. And obviously on the other end of the floor, they want to be very team-oriented, share the basketball, get it moving, force this world team to rotate, because that's when they're at their best, and they can break them down defensively and make them rotate.
Right now, USA on track for the fewest points in a Hoops Summit game. The previous was 89 back in 2009. And the United States will have it with 113. They've led by 1. The world team has led by 18.
Led by 18, they've got 53 rebounds in the game, 20 of them offensive rebounds.
Yeah. USA just needs a good shot, 65 seconds to play. Mohammed. Rebound Bennett.
It was an excellent play they designed coming out of the timeout, but Nerlens Noel brought his defender on the other side of the floor when they had a clear out for Shabazz Muhammad to drive to the hole, and he basically took the play away from him.
Saric. Wang Jae-Lin, he's going to be fouled by Noel. That'll be his 4th personal. Jae-Lin's got a nice ability to do that little pump fake, Ernie.
Well, the pump fake is created because he's so sound with his footwork. For a guy that size, I mean, I can tell you now, he probably does yoga, because his balance, yoga is good for big guys, by the way. His balance is terrific, and he did a nice job of getting his feet set. He gave the shot fake. His footwork is just outstanding in his ball game, and he's an excellent shooting big man. I mean, you got to realize he's 7 feet tall, 251 pounds of poised.
Amazing. And we were amazed watching him over the last 3 days. Currently in the junior program in China's CBA, which is the top level of basketball in the country. Noel ties up Saric, who's had a nice game himself, the Croatian. And it belonged to the world team.
Again, 3-point game, 43 seconds to go, and you give up a offensive rebound off a missed free throw. That is a huge possession in the game with under a minute to go, and that's the 21st offensive rebound for this world team, and that's been a big difference in this ball game for them.
Making sure the clock's correct. 43.3 to play, 22 seconds to shoot. Westerman has been the quarterback tonight for this world team.
I would say the pick and roll is coming sooner or later. And here it comes.
Jae-Lin tries to sell it. Westerman, nice job. Jae-Lin rejected. World gets it back. Bennett for 3. Oh my goodness.
That'll make your ankle feel better, won't it?
Suleiman on the drive.
Got to shoot that basketball. You can't pump fake that. Oh,
almost draws the 3-point play, but what a play by Anthony Bennett.
Well, Nerlens Noel does a good job on the block, and there's that loose ball rebound again. Bennett does a heads-up play, knows he needs to shoot, knows exactly where he's at on the floor, and look at his reaction. He said, my ankle's okay now.
And at the line, it'll be Kyle Anderson for 2. The United States now trailing by 6.
Bennett's a good basketball player.
Oh,
He's just a
solid
big load. I mean, he's got a strong upper body. We saw him with all the dunks. He shows the ability to shoot the 3. You can understand why Kentucky, UNLV, Oregon, Florida are all after this young man. He is going to be a very good college player.
Just finished up at Findlay College Prep in Nevada. He's taken on the vocal leadership role of this team. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. USA's last field goal was over 3 minutes ago.
Well, you get a chance to cut it to 3 if you knock down or 4, I should say, if you knock down the 2 free throws. Unfortunately, now you're going to have to press and get a foul and hopefully make the world team miss a free throw that they can blow it or something, but they're a good shooting free throw team.
And the United States cannot capitalize on the free throw.
You know, again, when you talk about a heads-up play, knowing the time on the shot clock, the great block is made, no hesitation, knows exactly what he has there to find it locate the rim, and nothing but the bottom of the net. And then not only that, to come down the floor, talk a little mess, and yes, I did it. I know when you hit a shot like that under pressure, you know where you're at on the floor. That is the dagger in the heart of the game. That sends people heading to the aisles and head home, because that was a big-time shot at a big moment in the ball game.
Despite the effort from that man, Shabazz Muhammad with 35 points, a new Nike Hoop Summit record for points scored.
Well, USA did a good job of pressing and getting themselves back in the ball game and everything. And, you know, with 11.3 seconds to go, they're going to have to foul, knock down big shots, and hopefully the world team misses some free throws. I don't see that happening, but give them credit for staying in there and making a great run to get back in the game. But the difference in this ball game, again, was at the offensive rebounding end of the floor, where Wang did a good job of rebounding. We got him, Wang Jaelin, here with his footwork and his finishing, and on all those driving kicks, he was the guy that had the opportunity to finish at the hole. Penetration speed, he gets it, he gets the offensive rebounds, putbacks. You know, you cannot give up 20-21 offensive rebounds to a guy that sticks his tongue out at you and have an opportunity to win a ball game, because those are point-blank putbacks. You're either going to give up a layup or potentially foul, and that was the difference in the game.
Well, the United States led 75-74, but since then the world team has gone on an 8-0 run. Wang Jaelin 19-8 this evening.
Well, we talked about him being one of the best, or the best Chinese player to ever play in this Nike Hoop Summit. He's certainly shown that tonight, because he has been exceptional in the game. He's kept his poise. He's had a lot of fun on the floor, too. He's laughed. I don't know if he speaks a lot of English. We talked about coaching practice, trying to get him to yell switch, but he certainly knows how to finish, particularly around the hole. He is going to be a great one when he puts on another 20, 30 pounds on that frame.
The three, nothing. Jaelin tries to keep it alive. Šarić is going to be fouled on the play. That's another one of the unselfish players for this world team, is Dario Šarić from Croatia.
The thing that I was impressed about, again, and you've got to realize so many players, multitude of players playing on different national teams, and from 16 on, and now all of them signing pro contracts and playing on pro teams over there, probably being a younger player on pro teams, playing against more experienced players. And of course, Roy Reyna has done a good job coaching them and putting them together, but they played a very smart basketball game. They were great defensively to start the game, kept USA from shooting the ball well. They got them to take bad shots, and they got them ran USA in transition, and they got their easy buckets. And then the drive, the dribble drive game of theirs was off the charts, where they would break down this USA team, and they did a good job, the coaching staff did, of preparing them, beat them off the dribble. They will collapse on the ball, and the drive, kick, and swing was outstanding tonight.
Now, Šarić played in the game last year, had 7.6 rebounds. Tonight he's got 13 points and 14 rebounds, has a double-double, and he locks it up. And the world team will come up with their 4th victory over the United States in the Nike Hoop Summit. They come back after trailing 75-74 to go on a 10-0 run, despite the fact Shabazz Muhammad had 35 points in the ball game for the United States. But the USA comes up short, 84-75.
Well, and they got a lesson, I think, in understanding defending the drive. And all of these young players, there's some great young talent on this floor. They're going to have a chance. And here's one of the best young ones with Rebecca.
All right, Andrew Wiggins. Offensive rebounds, the difference in this ball game, but also the defense in the last 3 minutes. How did you turn up the intensity when the U.S. stepped up offensively?
We knew the USA had a couple punches left in them. We knew they were going to come out hard, so we just played our game, played defense, and we came on top.
You've been playing for Team Canada since you were 14. What does it mean to get this win, not only for Canada, but also for the world team?
Well, it's always an honor playing for your country, so I'm honored to be here. So.
And it's only the 4th win for the world team in Nike Hoop Summit history.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It feels great. We accomplished a big goal of ours this week. We wanted to beat the USA bad. We practiced hard, and we accomplished our goal.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Shabazz Muhammad, the star of this game with 35 points, but it's not enough. The world team gets it done for the 4th time in history.
And speaking of that, let's take a look at the leading scorers. Wiggins led the world team with 20 points tonight. Shabazz Muhammad with 35, but Jay Lynn had 19 points. Saric had 13 in the ball game for the world team. 3 players in double figures, but when it came down to it, it was this play that really hurt the U.S.
Great block by Nerlens Noel here, but Bennett, very heads-up play. Lets it go, nothing but the bottom of the net. He knows, the fans know, their team knows that was the dagger.
Now the United States comes up on the short end of the stick as the world team wins it 84-75. Outstanding basketball game again at the Nike Hoop Summit. Stars of the future, keep your eye on these young people. Now for Ernie Kent, Rebecca Harlow, I'm Ron Thulin saying so long from the Rose Garden in Portland, where the world team beat the United States tonight 84-75. You've been watching the 2012 Nike Hoop Summit.